What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the LowcoSports Lowdown Friday edition. Pigskin preview for the final time this year, for this football season at least. We'll see you back next fall for some Pigskin preview and Pigskin Live. But this is the last one for us because, of course, Hampton County will be playing for a 2A state title tomorrow afternoon, barring the weather holds, at South Carolina State in Orangeburg. They'll be taking on Strom Thurmond. Max Raj alongside worldwide Wes Kerr. Wes, how you doing, man? I
Doing
understand you're
doing
in the hotel right
doing
now.
fine. Having some connection issues in
Yeah.
this hotel, but
So where are you right now? Because I didn't even ask. Where are you at right now? I know you're in a hotel room somewhere.
Yeah, I am up. I'm up a few miles up. I'm just hanging out with some friends over the weekend, and I am looking forward to seeing how tomorrow goes, because what an opportunity for Hampton County. I was there for the lower state championship game, and incredibly impressive and dominant showing by the Hurricanes as they get ready to potentially get their first state championship if they're able to beat a good Strom Thurmond team. So I'm pumped. I mean, I just feel like this Hampton team has that team of destiny mold to it. They're by the way they played defensively, and then you add in the performance of Jalen Singletary. I think that this Hampton County team is going to be a very tough squad to face this coming week, and I think that this Hampton County squad is going to come through and get it done. But we will go through all that here tonight. Sorry, trying to battle a tough connection here, but
yeah. It's all good. I can hear you. Hopefully the rest of the people watching can hear you. Let's get started with hoops first. We'll leave the football for last. Save the best for last. We'll start off with USCB hoops playing at USC Aiken on Wednesday. The USCB women's team came from behind to get the win on the road to start out their conference play at 1-0. Meanwhile, the men's team in a tough battle with USC Aiken. And once again, USC Aiken comes out on top with the 74-73 win. I was watching that game basically the entire time. And, USCB looked good, but I don't think they played their best game on Wednesday night. I think they got some things to work on, but it's never the best thing to start out conference play with an 0-1 record. But I think they're going to be just fine. But that's a very strong USC Aiken team. We saw that last year. We're seeing that again this season. USC Aiken is going to be one of those teams to watch throughout the rest of the Peach Belt schedule. We will play them again in Beaufort. I don't know when that is. That's probably in January. I would assume either January or February, somewhere in that time frame. Wes, women's team played well. I mean, first half I wasn't so sure. I thought I was seeing some of the same things as per usual. Couldn't make the close shots. Just wasn't able to find their groove. And then they go into the second half and they started playing like I think the team we expect them to be. I think the team that we expect them to be at their best level. And they get the job done. They come from behind. I think they were down as much as 10-plus points in the second half, come back to win the game over USC Aiken. Good win for the women's team.
Yeah, nice resilient win for the St. Sharks. I'm very impressed with what Lydia Gattosi has been doing to lead the way, and on top of that, these newcomers have really shown their spark plugs and made some big contributions. And you look at the starting five as a whole, who I think the passing is been very improving, but they just need to control those turnovers and find ways to avoid those mistakes. But just the fundamentals, when they're on their game, they've got a couple of strong shooters on this team and a lot of very excellent leaders on this group, led by Gattosi, and you have some others who have done a very good job stepping up as we've gone along here. That's never an easy place to win at Aiken on the road in the conference rival in your home state. You never take those for granted. So that's a big win anytime you're able to get in to start 1-0 in conference play. I mean, that's the hope. That's what you want to do. And so, congrats to the St. Sharks and Sharon Versip. I think she's got this program in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. You look at the start of this game between the women's team. USC Aiken scores 26 points in the first quarter to USCB's 13, and at that point we were saying, "Uh oh, where's this going to go?" And it's been a theme with USCB women's team. They've had a couple games where they've been down going into the second half, and then somehow find their way to get back into the game. We saw that with Lenore Ryan last week. They were down 20 and made it a 2-point game at one point late in the fourth quarter. But USCB gets outscored by USC Aiken in the first quarter, and then from there on out, USCB outscored them in the second, third, and fourth quarter. And in the fourth quarter, had the advantage of 26 points to 12 points from USC Aiken. The defense held well, but the player of the day for that game was Tanaya Bowman. 28 points, 6 steals,
Tonight,
4 rebounds. One of her career nights.
yep.
And so Lydia Gattosi, 20 points, 3 steals, 3 rebounds. I think Tanaya Bowman also had 6 assists in the game. So a 28, 6, and 6 with 4 rebounds on top of that. For someone, of her size, extremely impressive game from Tanaya Bowman. I hopefully this is a lot to come. If both her and Lydia Gattosi, along with, Janiyah Hayward, if those three can play really well together, which I think they can, I think once they've figured out that chemistry between the three of them, then you have the surrounding cast. This women's team is, I think, a lot better than I think people realize that they can be. And I think they showed that against USC Aiken on Wednesday. But yeah, great night for Tanaya Bowman. That might be a high in points for her.
Yeah.
In terms of her career at USCB. Let me get the men's basketball score up here. Let's see here. Let's see USC Aiken down here. Get the box score. So USC Aiken had the lead going into the half, 39-34. USCB actually outscored USC Aiken in the second half, 39-35, but it just wasn't enough down the stretch. Dominic Eason had another good game, 19 points, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 rebounds. Evan Kilminster, 9 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. I mean, it was a good game for USCB. I mean, they scored well, but it's just, for USC Aiken, I just feel like they've had their number the last couple times. They've had USCB's number. Of course, in the conference championship game last year, USC Aiken was able to get the win, the conference title. And then here, we expected USCB. We thought it was going to be a close game, but we thought USCB would be able to stretch it out a bit more, be able to get a good win against USC Aiken to start conference play. But obviously, you and I both know Peach Belt conference play is some of the most unpredictable college basketball you can watch in Division II basketball, because you just
Really
never
is.
know who's going to
It
come out
really
on
is.
top. And it shows it right here. I mean, USCB had their chances late to take the lead and to hold on to the lead, but they just weren't able to do it. So they'll start off conference play with 0-1. They're now 6-2 on the season. I believe their next game is on the road at Lander. That goes for the women's team as well tomorrow afternoon. The men's team will play at 3:30, which I believe that means the women's team will be around 12:30, 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So again, another conference game for both the men's and women's team. We'll see how the men's comes back from the loss, from what was a tough loss on the road again at Lander. So 2 games where we think the women's team has a very good chance. Lander's got a solid women's program. They also have a solid men's program as well. So we'll see how both of those teams do. Wes, give me your thoughts on that men's game on Wednesday night against USC Aiken. Just what did you think about it?
Well, it seems like all these games in conference play, they come down to a couple possessions, and for USCB, the same. Most of the core is the same, but there are a few that are trying to make their impacts on this team, and you start with some of those players that you expect to be, in terms of those top scores night in, night out. You need those guys to put together good performances. And, look, 74-73, there's no shame in losing by 1 point on the road to USC Aiken. That's a very good. I mean, how many times have they had a couple of, I remember they lost in the buzzer beater a few years ago, or maybe last year, to that Aiken team?
Yeah, they've had some close games. I think
Yep.
it was a pretty close game at USCB last year between these two
Yeah.
teams, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, yeah, they've had some close games, but I feel like that's kind of the trend when it comes to USCB men's basketball. When it comes to Peach Belt play, always seems to be like come down to the wire, you
Yep.
have a heart attack kind of moment.
Yeah, it really
Because
is.
he just
But
doesn't.
man, how many times has Hudson Norton come up with big performances? That
Yeah,
last
man.
year and now this year, 14 points off the bench, uh, 9 rebounds to go with 6 for 10 day shooting, and he didn't turn the ball over once. 0 turnovers. That's pretty impressive in a college basketball game at this
Very
level.
impressive. And I
So
think,
he is the guy who really needs to take full control in terms of getting things done for
yeah,
the squad when he's on the court. But I like what Evan Kilmeister has been able to do in his 23 minutes out on the floor. So he is going to be impactful. I think he's going to get better as this year goes along. And then good to see a strong performance from Dominic Eason as well in this game. But
yeah, you could,
yeah, yeah, like I said, thin margins
yeah,
in these conference games. It comes down to a few possessions, and it's tough to drop this one. But long season ahead. You play 18 games in conference play, plus a few more, hopefully in the conference tournament. So I'm not
yeah,
worried about after a 1 point loss at Aiken. Landers gonna be another tough one though. Having to go on the road against the always difficult team to play. Team that, of course, USB knocked out in the conference tournament last year. So I'm sure the Bearcats are wanting a little revenge this time on their home court. So that should be an interesting one. Early Saturday afternoon tip off.
yep.
I believe the women are 1:30 and the men are 3:30, and then
3:30. Yep.
home opener in terms of conference play coming up on Wednesday
Yep.
as they
Next
face
Wednesday.
Augusta, which we will be there for that one. So looking forward.
That should be a great matchup between the men's and women's teams. Those should be some really good games over on at the Cove on Wednesday night. Trying to get the Landers schedule. So the Landers currently 5-2. They've had some wins, kind of like USCB. One in particular, UNC Pembroke. They got a good win over to start off their season. They've beaten some good opponents, including Francis Marion, and they start off their conference play with a loss as well, a 64-60 loss on the road at Columbus State. So again, Columbus State, another one of those really good programs that you have to definitely keep an eye out on when you get into Peach Belt play.
Such a very competitive conference. Very, very
yeah. It's got to be one of the most competitive conferences in Division II sports when it comes to basketball as a whole. I think it shows really well whenever USCB plays at home or on the road. For some reason, it always seems to be a down the wire game for the men's team. But yeah, so USCB's upcoming schedule, of course, Lander tomorrow afternoon, Augusta at home Wednesday, December 10th, 7:30 game for the men's team. That'd be a 4:30 game for the women's team against Augusta, and then they go back on the road for a new Peach Belt opponent in Middle Georgia State University over in Cochran, Georgia. That's a Saturday game at 3:30, and then they got a lot of road games coming up. They'll be at Middle Georgia, Georgia College, and Clayton State for three straight games on the roads for them, and then they get back at home Wednesday the 7th of January. So we will see them on the 10th, and then we'll not see them for nearly another month.
Yeah, not until after the new year, I believe.
Yeah, so a lot of road games coming up, but that does mean we're going to have a lot of home games going into the second half of the Peach Belt schedule, which is going to be a lot of fun to see some of these games, including those Saturday afternoon games are always great and fun to watch. But I do know we do have, I believe if I'm not mistaken, February 21st, it will be a Saturday night game at the Cove, which should be absolutely exciting against Clayton State. So tune in for that if you want to go watch what it's like to be at the Cove on a Saturday night. It is quite special to watch. And we have both witnessed that before.
Well, there's nothing better than the night games. The afternoon games are great too, but I think there's a certain just a higher level of energy that you see in the night games versus.
Well, I think what makes it even more special is it's a night game on a Saturday night. I think a weekend night prime time game is always the best.
Prime time.
But,
I hope we get more of those in the future because those are kind of fun when you have the Saturday nights.
Yeah.
Teams. Yep.
So a lot more games to come up for both USCB men's and women's. They got quite a few road games coming up, but your next chance to see them at home will be on Wednesday, December 10th. That's next Wednesday against Augusta, and then they are on the road through the new year, and we will not see them again until January 7th.
Yeah.
So.
Be a while.
So a very interesting schedule, but nonetheless, we'll get to see them a lot more after the new year comes in, including for our first Saturday Peach Belt Conference home game. Won't be until January as well. So a lot more to come for USCB men's and women's. High hopes for both teams, especially that women's team after that amazing win, come from behind win to take down USC Aiken. So a lot more to come for that. I'm going to get our sponsors up here, and while we do that, give me 1 second. I forgot to do that when we started the show. Let's see here. Do we have... I hate when this happens. Okay.
Sorry?
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get our sponsors up while we do that.
No problem.
A lot of high school basketball taking place tonight, including one on Buford Zone between the Hardyville Hurricanes and the Buccaneers of Bridges Prep. Quite interesting game. You can definitely watch it. I'm going to see if they got highlights for that while we wait on those highlights. But a great game between Bridges Prep and Hardyville. Hardyville had the lead for basically the entire game until the last about 2 minutes or so in the game. Bridges Prep had tied it up, and then it was a back and forth battle for the final 2 minutes of the game. And then Hardyville got themselves into foul trouble, kept fouling Bridges Prep, and those free throws gave Bridges Prep the 51-50 win?
Tight game.
Yeah, very tight game between those two teams. I believe it was a 1 point game. I'm gonna get the game up here. Here we go. Let me get this. Is this no, that's the women's highlights. So the men's highlights are not up just yet, I don't think. Oh, no, here they are. Right here. Okay. All right, let me share this with everyone. And here we go. So this started here. And great. Hardyville took an early lead. They got that duo, that running back duo, basically, of oh god, I'm drawing blanks on names. I'm gonna have to look at the roster now. I'm so sorry, Hardyville. I should know the roster right now.
The defense is coming on strong for the Hardyville Hurricanes. Sawyer with a tough basket here.
Here we go. Oh, roster's not on there.
Taken away. Jameson trying to play keep away from Gray after he steals the ball and able to get the score.
Yeah, so good game between the two. Hardyville had the lead for most of the game. They really kind of, if I'm being honest, dominated for basically 3.5 quarters over Bridges Prep. Bridges Prep's very young, and this season they're lacking in a bit of size compared to the team they had last year. So I expect Bridges to struggle a little bit this year once their region play comes in, especially going up against the likes of Hampton County, which is going to be one heck of a team to watch this season. So, Bridges Prep, they fought their way back in the second half. Hardyville just seemed to have, the stronger team for 3.5 quarters, and then they just got themselves into foul trouble, and Bridges was able to force fouls on Hardyville, and with those fouls and the free throws that they made, gave themselves a win. In the end, it was a really, really solid showing by Bridges Prep, and honestly, a really solid showing by Hardyville. I expect Hardyville to have a solid season in region play. I think they can go toe to toe with Ridgeland, and see if they can get a good spot.
I like to see. I like what I'm seeing from Hardyville. I expect Bridges to go through a couple of growing pains this year. They did have a couple of guys
Over there
in
tapped
terms of
behind by
players
Gray.
who were lost, but
Gets it into the
I
hands of
liked the
Lazy
energy
Bucky
from what I saw
Santiago.
from
And
this
Bridges
Bridges Prep
Bucks have been
Bucks team, and one of the
all day.
favorite venues to go watch in terms of basketball around here in the South Carolina High School League Lowcountry area. They got great atmosphere, great energy over on that arena, and good fight here by Bridges in this game. A lot of good to take away, but with both of these teams early in the season, you're trying to these non-region games, you're trying to just refine yourself as a team, see who you got, and I think that this time of the year you're trying to just work and see which guys are going to need to step up once you get into region play. And so
Yeah.
I'm liking what I'm seeing from Hardyville. I think they're going to be competitive, and I think Bridges may not be as good as they were like last year, 2 years ago, but I feel like they still have a couple of athletes that they're going to
They
be in
can,
these games.
yeah, they can definitely be competitive, especially with the likes of Whale Branch. Whale Branch has struggled to start out the year. Actually, Buford's Own had the Whale Branch Battery Creek game on a few days ago between the two, and Battery Creek absolutely smoked Whale Branch, winning by I think 30. So Whale Branch is a bit down this year. I think they're missing a couple skill players. So I think Bridges and Whale Branch I think could be very competitive games between the two.
Yeah.
Actually, one player of note for Bridges Prep tonight, Mike Sawyer, had 21 points to lead Bridges Prep to the win, and I think he got the game tying free throw
Yep.
to give them a tie game with basically seconds to go.
Hmm.
So he's a real solid factor for this team. Trying to think what number is he? Is he number one? I'm looking for long sleeves. Let me see here. Is he on the court?
There's some
Yeah, number
impact
one.
players too.
Yeah, number
There.
one, Mike Sawyer
Yep.
is I think the main impact player for this Bridges Prep team this season. He had a good night. His skills are very polished. He's got real polished skills as a basketball player. He may not be the biggest dude, but he can play like a big man. He can also play like a guard as well. He's one of those very versatile players who could play at basically any position on the court and be a factor in the game. So definitely keep an eye out on that guy because he's really something special when he gets hot. He's
You need
very
those kind of spark plugs to win in these kinds of games, and I think Bridges is developing some guys who are going to keep their teams in these ball games. It's not an easy region just to 2A in general. I think there's going to be some solid teams,
Right.
especially Hampton County. You look at what the Hurricanes are going to do this year. Now after they get their basketball legs back from that long football season, they still after that. So I'm excited to see how the Canes will do this season on the court, and then I'll have to have a quick transition after they wrap up the football season. But really excited for this Hampton County basketball squad. Bridges Prep's going to provide a good challenge to a couple of these teams, and I think Hardyville may have still have some room to grow this year. As you look at the Canes, hanging with this Bridges team all night. So I think that there's excitement growing as well over in Justin's neck of the woods over in Hardyville. So I'm excited to see what they can do in 1A. Certainly,
well. I think
for them,
yeah.
lower weight class for them, but they're still going to have some challenging opponents in that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially Bamberg, Denmark Olar, the defending state champions.
There's some quality teams, and they're never easy, especially having to go on the
they're
road.
never easy.
Yeah, those games can be quite difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one thing I think that's going for Hardyville is they got speed, but they also got some big dudes for size as well inside the paint. With Daniel Briscoe being one of those guys, he was a key factor for them last year. Tall dude, not the bulkiest dude, but he can drive in the paint and be able to make some easy layups with his height. About 6'4", 6'5", center for them. And then, man, I'm drawing blanks on names, dude. I feel so bad because I can't find their roster. But they got some key players, including the duo guard talents. So they got speed and they got size,
Yep.
but they also got good skills in terms of shooting as well. They're able to drive in, make some easy layups, get some good mid-range shots, and they can occasionally make the three as well. So they got a good, solid team all around. But I think they do have to polish up some things before they get ready for region play, which won't be long from now. So you see that there. They got the speed. They can drive in pretty easily for a bucket against this Bridges team for most of the game. And good shot there. That's Mike Sawyer right there. Really good shot from a really solid player. So, I think Hardy's got something to prove. So we'll see what they.
We're back. Sorry, once again, connection issues here on this.
Yeah, that's
Friday,
fine.
but yeah. Looking forward. Dave, what was the final from the May River Pillet Prep game on Wednesday? Because that was
May River was up the last time I checked. I will look for
it
this
up real quick, but that was a good early game to see where both of those squads were at. I mean, it'll be interesting year for Hilton Head Prep. 2 new coaches on both the boys and the girls side. So, what we expect to see?
They gave Hilton Head Prep a stomping, 75-41.
Whoa, that is impressive from the Sharks.
Yeah. Yep, and
now this prep team lost a lot, especially with Ty Harper and some others. But I will say that I did not expect that kind of a scoreline, especially on that prep team that beat Bullock Academy 81-38. So this is no slouch of a Dolphins team. I think this really shows that this May River team is here to play this year.
Yeah, they definitely are. May River's upcoming schedule, by the way, they play Whale Branch. That should be a walkover for them. Hardyville,
no trouble there.
Same kind of deal. And then they have JP2, Bridges Prep. JP2 should actually be a really good game. That JP2 team is very strong.
Yeah.
I think them and May River could have a really good basketball game. And that's at JP2, by the way. So for those of you on the 9th, if you're not doing anything at 7:30 on December 9th, go check them out. Then they got Bridges Prep, Hilton Head Christian again. For some reason, they're playing Whale Branch for a third time, but I feel like
that's interesting.
I feel like that's wrong, but I think their schedule is going to change. But they are playing. They are one of the teams, of course, in the Battery Creek Classic, which is coming up on the 19th, the 20th, and the 20th, and then they play. I think a team from Australia, which would be really interesting.
That's cool.
You got all those foreign teams that may come over here every now and then and take a tour through the area, playing some of our local basketball teams. So I always love when they do that. It's always good fun. But of course the Battery Creek Classic, which is coming up on the 19th and 20th, which by the way will be on Beaufort's Own. Hopefully myself and Javon Livingston will be doing that basketball tournament like we did last year. So
awesome.
So that's the upcoming schedule for the May River Sharks team. Very strong team. Hilton Head's gotten off to a good start as well. They've been playing some really good basketball as of late. That's a really strong Hilton Head basketball team. So keep an eye on them as well because they are dangerous because they got speed and they got some real big size on that team. They take on Richmond Hill tonight. They're on the road at Richmond Hill tonight. So hopefully I can get a score because that's a really solid Richmond Hill team. Let's see here. Did you get any scores? So they started out with a win against Benedictine, and then they lost to St. Andrews. So St. Andrews must have a unit.
Yeah, they've got a So definitely keep an eye out on them at least. They're a Georgia team, but they've had some good quality basketball squads over the years. Don't sleep on them, but they're not a Skeeza team. They're not like Bethesda to play a Skeeza ball. So.
No, they're not. Let's see if I can't get Bluffton's up. Give me 1 second. See how if Bluffton was playing anyone tonight. And they were. I believe, at JP2 tonight. I do not have a score for that, though. So if someone can give me a score for that game, that would be extremely helpful, please. And that would have been, according to Max Preps, that is Bluffton's first game of the season against JP2, which is interesting. You would think they'd have at least 2 games in by now, but it is what it is. So if anyone can give me that JP2 Bluffton score, that would be great. Then their upcoming schedule, they're at home against Christchurch, on the road at First Baptist, which is the SCHSL team. And then they got Portugal and then Hilton Head Christian. And then they also, that's very interesting. So they will be playing in the Battery Creek Classic as well on the 19th and 20th. So that's very interesting. So they got the Battery Creek Classic, and then they are hosting their own, of course, Bluffton Christmas tournament on their grounds. So very interesting to see them doing 2 local tournaments back-to-back weeks. But it will be that time of the year where everybody's doing those Christmas time tournaments. So which is always a lot of fun for us to point out, to see some of these teams play off against each other and see how they compare with one another. But so yeah, that's pretty much most of our stuff for basketball tonight. If we have any other scores, please feel free to share it with either Justin or us, so we can get an idea of what the games were like tonight. So I still haven't gotten these sponsors up, but once I do, we will get through them. I think we're going to do a short show tonight because there's not a whole lot for us to do.
Of course, the big story of the week, of course, is the Hampton County Hurricanes football team, which is going for what would be a historic state title, first one for their program if they're able to get it. Although they have been close in previous years. Of course, 2 years ago they got to the lower state championship. They lost to Oceanside. This is their first state title appearance in the Hampton County era, with both the Hampton and the Estill schools combined. And I said this at the top, but after watching what they did in that really convincing win, it was never really even in doubt. Even when we saw still a competitive start for Central, they were really never able to do much after that first drive, and it was all the defensive effort by that Hampton County defense, which really propelled the Hurricanes in this one. But in that one, and I think this defense is really what I am most excited about, because they were playing lights out, absolute lights out football, and when you look at that group as a whole, what they're able to do, not just stuffing the run and blowing up screens, but the deep passing game. They had a chance for a couple of interceptions, more than they, of course, Jalen had to at the end, but they could have had a lot more. Just really in control, very disciplined, didn't commit many big penalties or make too many big mistakes, and all in all, just a really good team performance. And when the offense is clicking like that, I mean, that could be all different. You have a guy like Jalen Singletary, who I think is going to be the best player out there on the field. Strom they showed that they've been a good defensive team. They held a good hand control team. It's under 15. So, this defenses are pretty solid, but I just think that what Hampton County is doing offensively right now, powered by just an incredible year, just a historic year for Jalen Singletary. 2,000 yards for the 40. I mean, how often do you see something like that in terms of that kind of performance?
Yeah, I mean, he's been averaging nearly 220 to 230 yards a game on the ground throughout the playoffs. And I think the one thing for me is Strom Thurmond. The one thing I think Strom Thurmond has that's going to be difficult for Hampton County is, not only do they have a great running back, but they also have a fantastic receiving core with a really good quarterback at the helm who has an incredible arm. So, Hampton County's got to play really well on the secondary, which I think they can. But I think this is their first game, I think, throughout these entire playoffs, that it's going to be their first real challenge.
Yeah.
Team.
I mean, Central was a good team, but I think that Rashawn Lee and that Strom offense, I think they're a little bit more versatile than any other team that they've seen so far in these playoffs. And
I think the other thing is that I think the one thing that Central lacked in was size up front.
Yeah.
I think this was one of the first games I saw Hampton County have an offensive line that was just bigger in terms of both offense and defensive lines. I think they just had a bigger size offensive line, bigger size defensive line that kind of
You
ran
could see
over on
that
the
play a
front.
big factor
Yeah,
because you saw the size advantage up front, and that was really a huge factor defensively for sure, but also with the ability to open up those big game-breaking lanes for
right.
Singletary, and then Grant doing some things as well. But Strom is they're looking to be like a whole different kind of challenge with the way that they perform up front, and then you go over to the way that defense lately in the playoffs, and a balanced offense, one that, like I said, Hampton has not seen. And they're, you expect this Hurricanes team to play with that toughness that they need to avoid those big chunk plays, explosive plays. But I think you have to find a way to continue what you did in terms of putting pressure on the opposition in terms of who they have through the air. Um, because this Strom team has shown some makings of. I mean, they have been quite impressive when they've been on their form, when they've been able to get it out to their guys, like a Williams or a Simpkins, their senior wideouts. So find a way to hold them in check. Uh, but I kind of feel like Hampton County, when you look at the defensive backs, you look at the way that secondary is playing. If their secondary can play like the way they did against Central, I really do like this defense's chances of making some big plays. I mean, Singletary was terrific, not just on the offensive side,
Yeah.
but he was making plays left and right defensively. Not even just the interception at the end, but he was flying in to make tackles. And his just wherewithal and intelligence of where to be and big spots like that. You forget that aspect of it too. He's
Right.
just an all-around tremendous player, and
Yeah.
someone who it's just a blessing to have if you're a coach of a team down here. Such a great athlete, but also such a versatile guy. You can put so many different spots and see things being made happen. Then Terrell Grant, he dropped a couple or at least one or two interceptions that he could have had in that game against Central. He really looked good out there in the secondary
Yeah, he did.
alongside his work on offense. But this is Hampton County defense. I think they can be a big time factor. I mean, Grant's going to have to be smart with the football. I mean, I'm sure that if you're Strom, you're going to try to do whatever you can with Singletary's hands and maybe force Grant to do some things. So, this is a big opportunity, a big time moment for Grant. This last game of his career at Hampton County, and none bigger defining game for him. And I think he's ready for the challenge. I really was impressed by the way he held composure, the poise, especially on that long touchdown pass to break it open to Goins. And how about Goins? He has really been a nice impact maker in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Touchdown catch, but we haven't talked about Seb's name enough. He could be a guy, if he gets out in the open, he can make things happen. So, this Hampton County team has outlets. It's not just Singletary, but
Yeah.
if they looked at the benefit of having Singletary is if they stack the defense and try to stop him, you have some guys that have good speed to the outside and can make things happen and pick up some
Right.
good gains, especially in like first or second down situations. And then you really have a good luxury of what to do
Yeah.
from there.
I agree. I think the one thing people forget is, obviously Jalen Singletary's, the main guy on that offense.
Yeah.
But the thing that people forget is Hampton County has a solid receiving core. And I think people forget that sometimes until Terrell Grant throws it to someone. You're like, oh, that's right. You completely forget that the receivers are there and they're all very solid receivers, good height, good speed on the outside. And I think people kind of forget that. And, you think Strom Thurmond, I think, that's going to be one of their struggles too, is I think, that receiving core for Hampton, whenever Terrell Grant decides to throw a football,
Yep.
I feel like Strom Thurmond may not be fully ready for that kind of instance of, oh my God, he's passing the football.
Yep.
It's one of those things. I think it makes that Hampton County offense so deadly is that, yeah, you got the legs and you got the speed of Jalen Singletary, but you also have the speed on the outside with that Hampton County receiving core.
Yep.
So I think Hampton County's in a really good spot right now with what they got. But I can't go without saying this is going to be the toughest game. I think they've played all year, and if there's any game that's tougher than that one, it would have been the Hilton Head game. I think other than that game, this is going to be Hampton County's biggest challenge of the season to date. And I think the one thing I would say is if you're Hampton County, do what you have done the entire
Yep.
playoff, and that is get out ahead early.
Yeah, I
Get
mean, the
to a
start
fast
is key. You gotta, sometimes the nerves are a big factor in a game like this because it's not any normal game. You're trying to make it feel like a normal game, but it's not because you're playing at a college state. You're playing at South Carolina State. You're playing, the state championship on the line. It's there's a lot more fanfare in a game like this, and you have to be ready to go from the outset. And so I kind of feel like they will be, just from what we have seen in the past, and from the fact that they've started on time. It seems like all these games, whether it's in Singletary on a big gainer or the defense making a play, this Hampton County team has been ready to go from the jump. They've just had that extra step all playoffs long. For the Rebels to continue to match up with them because of the way they can really take over a game and lean on that defense and lean on that run game of Singletary to hold down a lead. So the start is key, as it always seems to be around this time of year, because Strom's a great team.
But I think they've done it. I think for me, they've done it best these last 2 weeks. These last two games that they've had, they've gotten off, bam, touchdown right away.
Right. I mean, if you bury a team like that, these are 14 to 18-year-old kids. This is you talk about that sometimes more compared to pro football and professional sports, because pro athletes sometimes do a better job of bouncing back.
Right.
In high school football, if you start off hot, it is tough. It can be tough for the other team to recover.
Yeah.
So that is a critical.
You gain that momentum quick. Yep. It's tough for the other team to get that momentum.
And Hampton County has the guys who can make that happen. I think more so than Strom, but Strom has some guys who can put together some long extended drives. But I think in terms of the quick strike capabilities, I think Hampton just has a little bit more. I mean, obviously, 75% of that is Singletary in terms of the expected, big time plays. However, you've seen Grant make some things happen with his arm as well, and guys like Saab who can get out wide and make things happen. So I just think that this Hampton team is playing their best football at the best time right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to do sponsors real quick, and then after the sponsors, we will make our picks for the 2025 South Carolina High School League 2A football state championship game between Hampton County and Strom Thurmond. So our all-star sponsors, Mickelson Law Firm, our original and all-star sponsor, our official real estate closing attorney and presenting sponsor of our HHCA coverage. Call on Mickelson Law Firm for all your legal needs. And, of course, WHHI, our great partners in local sports journalism and the only television station devoted exclusively to covering the Lowcountry. Keep up with the latest news on WHHI TV, available through Spectrum and Hargrave, or streaming online at WHHITV.com. And then, of course, Hudson Seafood on the docks, our great sponsor, great place for seafood, sunsets, and cocktails on Hilton Head Island. Of course, our presenting sponsor of Under the Bus, which had another show earlier this week. Great show, by the way. Go check that out. New episodes every Tuesday on the Loco Media Network. Twinge and Twombly, personal injury attorneys, rare name, remarkable service. And, of course, our good friend, Coach Barron and HHI Windows and Doors, improving your view of the Loco. And his company actually is like 2 minutes from my house. They have their whole office building and whatnot right across the street from Chick-fil-A in Bluffton. So I drive past there every day. So, all right, here we go. Strom Thurmond, Hampton County, 2025 2A state championship football game. Wes, who you taking?
Well, Strom Thurmond, coming into this game, I mean, they've had to battle a little bit more in terms of who they've played and how they've been able to get through it, and it can go both ways because that's a very good Fairfield Central team they beat. Chester is a team that I
Great
thought was
game, by
playing
the
some
way.
good football this year. They crushed them 31-8. So I think both teams have really excelled in terms of just, other than that last one, Fairfield Central, but that Fairfield Central team's certainly a top 5 team in
Yeah.
2A. So, certainly in the battle in that one, but, Strom Thurmond is going to be, as you mentioned, they're no doubt the biggest test that Hampton is going to see in 2A football this year. But this Hurricanes team, going into the playoffs or even, a couple weeks prior, we really weren't quite sure what we were going to see from them after losing to Bluffton, after losing Hilton Head. Now, obviously, Hilton Head is, they proved themselves as a top team 4A and maybe one play away of getting to the lower state championship. You look at Bluffton, a team that certainly proved a lot in offense this year, but wasn't consistent at the end, but still, it's a good 4A team. So, you knew that Hampton was going to come out guns firing, in the expression in region play. But man, what they've done in the playoffs this year has been ultra impressive, and it really is confirmed once again by Jalen Singletary. If they get it done tomorrow night and bring the championship back home to Loco, bring it back to Hampton County, these guys have won it more so in a way than anyone else this year. It has seemed with their play, especially by how the taste after last year's disastrous loss to Manning just yielded at the start of the playoffs, and it seems they have left absolutely no doubt these last 2 games. Jalen Singletary is a man on a mission. You can say the same about Grant. You can say the same about a good number of those starters out there because they are playing at an extremely high level. The defense is absolutely fine. Now, can they take that same energy at home, in a big time environment at SC State? I just think at this Hampton County team, they have risen to the best, highest level of play that we have seen from them, and they are peaking at the right time. They are playing some terrific offensive football led by Agent Zero, who has just he's the guy who can take over. He's the guy if he finds that open grass, and if he's able to break through, and the other guys do their job to get him the opportunities. Strom Thurmond is they're not going to do enough to get those stops if Jalen Singletary continues to play at that high level. But it's going to come down to what happens up front. Hampton's going to have to. They're going to have to do their job on the offensive line and give those opportunities for Singletary and the quarterback to make plays. If they do that, I think this offense, in terms of those skill positions, are going to take over and do what we have seen all playoffs long. And this defense, the best performance that we have seen so far from them coming in the lower state championship game, and the strong offense, which certainly took in that Fairfield Central game. I think that defense has shown even higher potential than what we have seen from some of those other 2A teams. I just think all the pieces are fitting together. All the pieces are fitting in their exact right spots. That's what you need to build a championship team. And I think they have it, all of them in front of them on Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock, early evening start. And they're going to put them all together in what should be, I think it's going to be a one-possession game. I think that, Hampton, they have dominated for pretty much the entire playoffs. I think this will be different. I think Strom is going to put up a good defensive showing and limit the damage. But I think, second half, Jalen Singletary is going to make the big play of the game, whether it's defensively. More likely, it'll be a big-time run, a long touchdown run, or a long run to set the score. It's going to be 8-0 who makes that decisive play and gives Hampton County their first state championship in, I'll say, a 7-point game on Saturday afternoon from South Carolina State. Canes take the 2A state title.
Ooh, good call. I think we have watched this Hampton County team grow and continue to grow throughout the entire season. After those 3 straight losses to Bluffton, to Hilton Head, and then of course on the road at Christchurch, which long road trip, which ended up being a really close game. But of course they were dealing with a couple injuries at that time. for Hampton County. You know, this outside of those 3 games, this is going to be their toughest matchup yet this year. I mean, you look at Strom Thurmond's record, you know, their 2 losses come to what was a very solid North Augusta team this year, who made it to the lower state semifinals at the 4A level, you know, and then Lincoln County out of Georgia, who is also currently about to, well, either they're playing today or tomorrow for the Georgia high school state semifinals. You know, so 2 very solid teams that Strom Thurmond lost to. And loud in there. And then you got the close scores to really solid teams. They got the overtime win against Batesburg Leesville, which has always been a solid football program. Saluda, another great football program, 1-score game there. You know, and then for the rest of it, they've really dominated around the upper state area. They've been a really solid team. Look, we should remind everyone, these 2 teams were both ranked number 1 in coaches polls at some point this season. They have both been easily the number 1 teams out of each section of the bracket, both upper state and lower state. These 2 teams are the best teams you can possibly have for the state championship game.
And I think that you know, there was a lot of movement in 2A throughout the year. I mean, what did I say every week? It was a crapshoot. I mean, 1 through 10.
Yeah.
You could have you could make a case for any of those 10 teams to be number 1 at some points this year. I mean, there was very little in between. But you know, maybe I'll take some crow, because there were times I did not put Hampton County as higher or as high that other people did. There were some reasons behind that. You know, sometimes doubting them maybe helps, but you know, I just think that there were some. You know, even though Singletary was playing well, I was worried about the defense at times. I was worried about just the consistency early in the year, but they have proved me wrong in a good way, and they play their best football, like I said, you know, at the time they need to, and that is what really makes me believe that Hampton is going to come in and really show their teeth early in this game.
Yeah.
Throw that first punch, whatever it may be, whether it's a big Singletary run or a big stop or a turnover. You know, just Rob Hanna has done a terrific job. We've said that for a number of years, but in this year and just the cohesiveness. I mean, they've always had guys who can perform, but this year it seems like everybody's been on that same exact page, and that's what you need to put together a championship team. It's an 11-man sport for a reason. It's not basketball. You're gonna have one guy. Even though Singletary has kind of felt like he's been that guy, it's been other pieces as well who have had to do their job. And they have. And, you know, Hampton is trending every which way in the right direction. And, you know, Strom certainly has the talent and the skill to win this game. But I think if Hampton continues to play at their highest possible level, what we have seen, they'll have every chance to make big plays on both ends or both sides of the football and come up with those big time important opportunities converted on in a game like this, because it comes down to these championship games. They always come down to, how many times I say, they come down to 2 or 3 plays, many times.
And I think for me, I think Hampton County has played their hottest football throughout these playoffs, and I just think, you know, after that closer game that they had in the second round of the playoffs, after that, everything else has been really just a blur for them. They've pretty much run through the rest of the lower state. Or whatever the lower state had to offer them. And you know, I think Hampton County is playing their best football right now, and I think they continue to do that. You know, I think they need to get out to the hot start. I think they do that. You know, I think they find a way to get Jalen Singletary a good run through that Strom Thurmond, you know, defense. I think Hampton County's got the team capable of winning a state championship, and I think they're going to get it done. You know, Give me Hampton County. I think I agree with Wes here. I think this is a one-score game. You know, I really do, because I think Strom Thurmond's got the means to make this a really good ball game, real Donnybrook type game. So give me Hampton County, but this is going to be a close game. But I see the Hurricanes getting their first state title. So yeah, that. It's going to be a fun day tomorrow. I'm going to be out there at Orangeburg with pretty much the entire county. will
Yeah.
definitely be out there for that game as
Yep.
well. They'll fill the stands out real quick. And looks like we are about to have someone join us in the studios here to make his pick. Ladies and gentlemen, the founder of LowcoSports,
There he
Justin
is.
Garrett. Looks like his mic's not working. Give him a couple seconds.
No,
But
I'm
there
here.
he is.
I got you.
No, hi. Hey, man. What's up?
What's up, boys? Just getting out of the middle school wrestling championships. I didn't mean to jump right into the studio like that.
No.
Just
I
in
think
here.
it does that with your phone. It does that to me every time I hop in with my phone.
Yeah.
It just joins in right
Seems
away.
to be the case. But no, we had middle school wrestling championships, Loco championships tonight. Getting feedback up. But yeah, it was a good night. Our Hardyville kids, 6, 5 of them had never wrestled a match before, but
Wow.
2 of them got 3rd place. We went 10-10
Nice.
overall. I think it was Bluffton Middle that came out on top. They got an army of middle schoolers.
They always do.
Also had an army of middle schoolers, but
Yeah.
great wrestling tonight. Great to see so many kids. I think there were 188 kids wrestling
Wow.
in the middle school tournament tonight, and more than that
Awesome.
tomorrow at the varsity and JV. So it should be a good time.
Yeah, and of course, Hardyville varsity wrestling got a big win over Whale Branch earlier this week as well. I believe the score was, what was it, 46-45, Justin?
43-42. It was tied 42-42. All pins and forfeits, so 6 points in every way. And so that sends it to a tiebreaker criteria. The first 4 criteria have to do with unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. There were none of those. So the next one was also tied, so it came down to the fewest forfeits allowed.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, that's a great win for the Hardyville Hurricanes, especially their first, I believe, your first event at the home on the home floor for the Hurricanes. So great win for the Hurricanes there. Good matchup between them and Whale Branch. But Justin, we were talking about, of course, Hampton County football tomorrow afternoon, 4:00 at Oliver C. Dawson Stadium in Orangeburg, South Carolina, home of the South Carolina State Bulldogs, who actually just won another conference title for football as well. So they're going to be playing in the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta later this month, I believe. So great venue to have state championship games at. You know, we have both given our thoughts on Hampton County and their opponent, Strom Thurmond. Give us your thoughts, man.
Well, first of all, the Smack Talk online has been amazing from both sides. It's going to be a hype game. It's going to be a lot of fun. 2 pretty similar teams. You know, I mean, they both kind of do the same things or want to do the same things. So we'll see who can impose their will in this situation. But are you guys getting feedback, or is that just me?
I'm hearing something. I think it's from Wes. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, give us some feedback.
It's kind of weird, but he's got some bad signal right now. It's okay.
Yeah, no worries. I was just making sure it wasn't me. But
What was coming up?
I think it's
I was
something
just
in your
getting some
background,
feedback.
Wes. I'm not sure, but
no worries.
hold on. Let me try something here. Yep, it's Wes.
All right.
What was I doing?
No, something in your background. I don't know. Maybe in your hotel room or something. And you weren't doing anything. It's just the feedback, I think.
Yeah,
But
okay.
go ahead, Justin.
Nonetheless, as long as you guys can hear me, I'll keep talking. So, you know, I think they're very similar teams. They both want to do the same thing. So it's going to come down to kind of who executes better and imposes their will a little bit. No one's been able to stop Jalen, and you know, until I see it, I won't believe it. So, you know, I think I'm on Hampton, obviously, but I just feel like until somebody proves they can stop him, it's hard to believe anybody can.
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
I think I like Hampton. I think they can play this game a lot like last week, where if they can get on top, they get one stop and they break serve and they keep scoring, then you can't beat them. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
now Strom's defense is excellent. I think it'll take more stops than it did last week, but
Right.
also Strom's offense, you know, didn't inspire a lot of confidence last week. So,
But granted,
I
granted,
I think
that's a
it's a one.
strong Fairfield Central team.
I think if it gets to a 2-score game, it gets there late. I think it's a back and forth 1-score type game all night,
Yeah.
and maybe whoever wins tacks on one at the end and makes it look like 14. But it's really going to
Yeah.
be a 1-score game, I think.
I don't think there's too much in this game between these two teams. I think Hampton has maybe the high skill, maybe a little bit more high skill with a guy like Singletary.
Yeah.
But I think Strom is going to be the most complete team they have seen by
Yeah.
a good margin. I think that.
And they're probably. I think Strom's going to have a little bit of an edge, size and
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of the
So,
skill, I think Hampton has a good
I think you're right.
collection.
But I think
A little more
anyone,
speed, a little more skill.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I mean,
anyone will tell you, and I bet you, like, you could ask BJ Payne about this. Anyone will tell you Hampton County is the most physical team they will face. You know, like despite their, maybe their disadvantages of size, and just strength, physical, nature of
Right.
this team is just, something that any school would say, yeah, I don't want to play
Yeah.
at their home field again because, man, it is crazy out there.
Yeah.
And B, that is one of the most physical teams I have ever played for as a player or as a coach, because they have that physical nature in them, that aggressive physical nature. And so I think, for me, if Hampton County plays with that kind of physical, that aggressive physical, it could throw Strom Thurmond for a little bit of a loop. But, I think, I think we're all in agreement. I think this could be a very tight 1-score type game, between these two teams for a state championship.
and that's
Yeah, and I think it's probably in the 20s.
Yeah,
like a
that's what I was
20,
thinking.
I think so too.
28,
Yep.
21 type.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was feeling.
Yeah. So
How about Big
Yes.
Bamberg? Big Bamberg doing it.
Yes, I mean, there really no doubt. I didn't expect
yeah, no,
anything less from them.
not a chance.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, there was no chance.
Now there was a time where I thought Abbeville was a team to beat, but when they got knocked off, I mean, there was nobody beating Bamberg. I think Abbeville was going to be the team that would have beaten Bamberg. I don't think anyone else would have. Just my sense of it, but yeah, congratulations to Bamberg, Earhart, whatever our good friend.
Yeah,
we
Bamberg.
actually called them, but by far the
Hamburger.
best guy this year, and much deserving that they come out
Actually,
with it.
so I got some of the other state championship games so far. Obviously, I think we knew who was going to win this one. Oceanside Collegiate beats Belton Hanea Path 28-7. Again, Oceanside in a division where I think they should be a division higher than they are, but regardless, great win by them.
Did y'all see what happened at the end of that game?
No, I did not.
In the handshake line?
Oh boy.
It popped,
There was
it
something
popped off in
interesting.
the handshake line, and BHP started some stuff in the handshake line, and it got kind of nasty, and people are talking about, are they going to be on probation next year type stuff, because that has happened before. So very interesting to see what comes out of that.
Yeah, yeah, interesting as usual. It is what it is.
It's like, just act right, children.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, Bamberg obviously gets the win. Bamberg gets the win over Lamar, 35-21. There was a 5A one tonight. Was that Division 2? It was.
I think Northwestern put it on her.
Northwestern put a butt whooping on Irmo, 55-13. The final score. So the winners of the Division 2 5A state title will belong to the Trojans of Northwestern, who had one heck of a season. Really solid team. So tomorrow, of course, Division 1 5A football state title, that will be between, I believe, Somerville and Dutch Fork. That should be one heck of a ball game between those two teams. Somerville laid a butt whooping on James Island last week to get to the state title game. Of course, the 4A football state championship game between South Florence and South Point. I think I know who's winning that game, but I think it's got to be South Point.
I think that's the best matchup of the weekend, honestly.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's a close game.
Pretty good too.
Yeah, I think it's a close game. The Division 1 game, 5A game, might be interesting as well. And then, of course, at 4 o'clock, on tomorrow afternoon. Strom Thurmond takes on Hampton County. A lot of great state championship games in store tomorrow. I will be, of course, up there for the Hampton County game tomorrow afternoon. JJ, I think, is going to try to get out there the moment he's done with
Yeah,
wrestling.
wrestling.
So wrestling. That is the state championship games coming up. So we are all in agreement. We all believe Hampton County will get a state title tomorrow
Oh yeah.
afternoon. All right, final sponsors, and then we'll get into our parting thoughts. Reverence Wrestling Club, the official wrestling sponsor and proud presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind, and great friends of LowcoSports. Of
Got
course,
to
James
talk.
Harvey.
Got to talk with Blake tonight about
Did you? That's
Reverence
awesome.
Wrestling Club.
Yeah.
Everything he's got going on there. Oh yeah.
By the way, you can go check out
wrestling
Reverence.
happening in town. Blake is going to be there.
Yeah, by the way, you can go check out Reverence Wrestling Club. They're based out in Bluffton, right down the road from my house, actually. For those of you who know where Planet Fitness in Bluffton is, it's right next to that. And you can go check them out there. And then, of course, in Ridgeland, Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. And we know a lot of people that go to Jay's Barbershop. All right. Parting thoughts, fellas. We'll start with Wes here.
All right. So big day today in the world of soccer. After long last, the final draw for the World Cup in 2026 has been concluded and looks like a pretty good draw for the United States.
It's a good draw.
I think that they lucked out. They avoided the so-called group of death. I don't know if you can say there's like a real true group of death, maybe with England, Croatia, but U.S. through Paraguay, Australia, and then the winner of one of the European playoffs. A couple of teams, they still have to decide that last spot. The winner of UEFA Playoff C. So a couple of teams will vie for that one, but they will play Paraguay and they will play Australia. And I think that it definitely could have been worse in terms of who they drew in that group stage. So I'm interested to see. This is the first event or the first time the World Cup will have 48 teams, 12 groups of 4, and should be entertaining. You got Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. all the 3 host cities or the 3 host countries. And the first match will be between Mexico and South Africa to get it started. Which also was the first match in 2010 between the 2010 World Cup in South Africa between those 2 countries. So interesting stuff there. But I'm excited to see that the group, not just Group D, but that group with England, Croatia, which has always been the last few years one of the best teams in Europe. And then Ghana. I mean, how many times have Ghana been that spoiler in the World Cup? A lot of times it's the U.S. and then Panama. Kind of the wild card there, but that's a pretty good
lot of trap game situations in that group.
Yeah, just because there's 48 teams, I think the groups are more spaced out, so you don't have although you got France, Senegal, Norway could be interesting. I don't think Argentina will have too much trouble with their group. Brazil, Morocco, Scotland could be fun to watch. But yeah, I don't think there's, one where you can say, oh, this is clearly the group of death, as they say, where you have a bunch of quality teams, competing in one group. So, I think that just with having 12 groups, it kind of lessens that. But, I think the U.S. has got to be feeling good about their draw. I think Paraguay, I think that's a winnable match. I think, all 3 of those matches are going to be ones where the U.S. can win if they play a good game. So I expect them to advance out of the group stage, and you'd hope they would, but you never knew coming with the draw. But I do think the way this is set up, I think it gives them a good opportunity to at least get out of this group stage and advance past there. So already looking forward to it starting in June. It is going to be a fun summer to keep our eyes on that throughout June, July. So. Yeah, the World Cup draw has finally taken place, and I like how it's panned out for the U.S.
Yeah. All right, Justin, parting thought.
Yeah. So a couple. First of all, I did publicly post my picks for this weekend. comment in the SC Sports Facebook group, and I'm 3 for 3 so far.
Right.
I had Bamberg, Oceanside, and Northwestern, and I have Hampton, Somerville, and South Point tomorrow. So,
Ooh, Somerville over Dutch Fork.
yeah,
Interesting.
that was my big upset pick.
Interesting. Okay.
What they did to James Island last week
Yeah,
was
that's
impressive
true.
to me.
They've been on a
and
tear as of late.
I think everybody going into the season thought they were the most talented team, and they didn't necessarily show it early on, but I think they're really coming into form now. I think that depth that they have is really helping out down the stretch. I think they're good. I mean, it's hard to go against Dutch Fork. It's really hard to go against Dutch Fork. But
Yep.
you know, I had to keep love for the Loco. So
Love for the Loco.
Funniest thing is, I think people slept on them because they got into the playoffs as a 5 seed, and you were just like, I don't know
well,
about
they had that
Somerville.
one slip up. Who'd they lose to? Ashley Ridge or somebody? But
Someone, yeah.
they had a slip up that messed them up on seeding. But everybody knew they had a ton of talent.
Ton of talent, yeah.
So
well, the same thing with South
I
Point.
think that's
too.
a fantastic game. But all the games tomorrow are really good matchups. Should
Yeah,
be a
fantastic
fun day in
matchups.
Orangeburg.
Yeah.
And then my other one, a friend of the program, is now involved in the local wrestling scene as the one of the coaches for Ladies Island Middle School, where a former star, a one-time star of the program, is wrestling now. Macy Estrella, a.k.a. Lacey Evans of WWE fame, is coaching the Ladies Island Middle School.
Wow.
And Summer, who we made famous, well, she was already famous, but we made her locally famous when we covered her MMA debut when she was like this adorable little 12-year-old girl, and which she won by submission. She's wrestling now, and she's really good.
Well, she learned from the best, didn't she?
Yeah. And Macy's out there coaching, and she is into it, and she's doing the most like she always does, and it's just pretty cool to see that. It's one of the cool things about this place that, you know, a lot of folks are attracted here who have done really cool things in their lives, and a lot of them get involved with giving back to the kids and the community. So just really cool. For us tonight, great tomorrow. If you're curious about wrestling, check it out because we're gonna have all the local schools at Hilton Head. We get started about 10. It'll be a long day, but there'll be a ton of wrestling and a great crash course. And you're bound to see some people that you know out there. So, but probably some kids you know out there wrestling. So, come on out to Hilton Head High tomorrow and support local wrestling. It's a great sport. We're making great young men and women when we get them to something as taxing mentally and physically as wrestling.
It's a great first tournament to get the wrestling season into high gear. You know, you got all the best around the Lowcountry competing, and then, you know, it's like the first major of the year. Then you go to the next major, which is the Shark Invitational.
Yeah, it's like Daytona. Yeah. But what's really cool about it, and really the idea behind it, is we all know that as coaches that we all have a bunch of new kids, new to the sport, and there's no substitute for a live match when the other kid, when there's some mistake and the other person is trying to whoop you. And so that first match is very eye-opening. And so for them to be able to go to a tournament like this, and all of our kids got at least 2 matches, all but one of them got at least 3 matches, a couple of kids got 4 and 5 matches, and now they're seasoned now. They're ready. They understand it now. They're ready to go and get better and do it again. So it's an amazing event. Mike Newton is the architect of it. It was his idea to do a big whole area event at the start of the year like this for that exact purpose. And it's just a great way to acclimate the kids to it. And now they understand the next time we go on Saturday all day what it's going to be, you know?
Right. Yeah, of course.
Well, it looks like the Green Wave of Tulane are going to be on Tulane Road to the college football playoff.
Yeah, I was about to get to that, and that is actually my parting thought. Thank you, Wes, for that.
Yeah, well, I wanted to make the
nice segue.
Yeah, great segue.
Yeah.
All right, so my parting thought, of course, we got a lot of college football coming up this week. Very interesting college football already. The Sun Belt Championship has been decided. Congratulations to the 12-1 James Madison Dukes, winning 31-14 over Troy, and then of course, like Wes mentioned, Tulane holding a 31-13 lead with about 16 seconds.
Scored. Yeah.
16 seconds to go in the third quarter. Tulane holds on to win. They will be a lock for the group of five.
Bad news for Duke, because that's going to pretty much take them out of any chance to make the playoff, even if they win the ACC, because Tulane they're both finished ahead of them, and they would be relegated. That's the tough thing is, like now if you win the ACC, you don't even get to go to the Orange Bowl. Because like before, even if you won the ACC, you still got to go to a BCS game or a Junior Six game. Now you don't even get to do that, which kind of sucks.
Play at the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl or something.
Right. I feel like there should be a big reward for winning the conference championship, and now you don't even get like a big time bowl game.
I don't disagree with you on that, Wes. I don't disagree with you at all on that.
I think they need to make it where every conference champion gets not a bit. That's just
the other thing would be if Virginia wins. There's also the discussion. Well, they would get in regardless if they win, but then you get into the discussion of who gets in, Miami or Notre Dame. And it just gets into that conversation of who's got more, because of course Miami beat Notre Dame, but Notre Dame has had kind of a better season compared to Miami. It's just.
I think we need to go to 14 or 16 teams. In my
16
opinion.
For me. Yeah.
16 would be better, but it gets to the point where you're just starting to, include everyone.
I kind of like 14, like in the NFL. If the NFL can do 14,
actually,
can do 14.
JJ makes a good point. Just follow the D2 tournament.
Yeah, they've been doing
agree
this
with you
for
on that.
decades in 1AA and D2. Yeah. They've been doing this for decades, and it's not that confused. It's not that complicated. If they would just start the season in August instead of September, they could be done with the regular season by Thanksgiving and play out your whole tournament in December, and then you don't spill over into the second semester, so you don't have this transfer portal nonsense after the break.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Other games going on tomorrow, quite a few. Of course, starting off at 12 o'clock, on ABC, the Big 12 championship game at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Number 11 BYU, 11-1, takes on number 4 Texas Tech, 11-1. Texas Tech has quietly been one of those really strong teams that people just don't talk about enough. But they've been a strong team all year. BYU's one loss came to, of course, Texas Tech. So this should be a very interesting game between these two. And if BYU loses, is there a conversation where they still sneak into the playoffs? Who knows? Of course, at 4 o'clock on ABC, the SEC championship game once again. Number 3 Georgia taking on number 9 Alabama in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And then to top it off, or cap it off, I guess, whatever you want to put it down as, 8 o'clock. 2 games at 8 o'clock. One on Fox, one on ABC. On Fox, the Big Ten championship game, I would say, is the biggest one of the night, between number 1 Ohio State and number 2 Indiana at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana, of course. So you can expect a lot of Indiana fans at this one.
If you're the ACC, you're going to pull out all the stops, make sure Virginia wins this game. You not want to win this game if you're the ACC.
I would. Yeah. Pay the rest some extra. Why not? Of course, on ABC at 8 o'clock, 7-5 Duke takes on number 17 not West Virginia, Virginia at 10-2. Of course, at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. Virginia wins, more than likely they're in. If Duke wins, it is.
And James Madison will get in. So James Madison will hold for.
But I wouldn't put it past Duke to win this game, because for some reason the ACC has been more than chaotic this year. So who knows? Because of course you have a 7-5 team in the ACC championship game over the 9-2 Miami Hurricanes. How Not a clue. I don't understand that whatsoever.
Yeah,
I
the
think
ACC
Miami
has
should
been
have
kinda
gotten in
crazy this year.
regardless of what their conference schedule was and what their conference record was. Miami should have been in over Duke for
Yeah,
this
yeah.
game. I don't understand this
Yeah.
whatsoever. I think this is bad marks on
Well,
the ACC, but this
I
is how
think
they've
that the
this is
schedule,
how
I
they've
just think
put it
the
together.
conference schedule needs to be longer, I guess, to get the best teams in there. I mean, because I feel like some teams don't play, like, you don't get the best representation of, college football. There's always, it's hard, it's really hard for the schedule. You only get to play a certain amount of games, and you still have to have,
Right.
like, the rivalry games and the bye games. So it's hard to
Yeah.
make it
So
perfect.
yeah, so those are the games on Saturday night. Other college football news, of course, today, big news out of Penn State. Iowa State head coach Matt Campbell has taken the Penn State coaching job and has signed an 8-year contract with the Nittany Lions. And so he is the head coach for the foreseeable future for Penn State. I do like Matt Campbell. I hope he can do some good things over at Penn State because I really do like him as a coach. He's been a great coach at Iowa State and has put together some really great teams over at Iowa State. So good pickup for them. Obviously, I think the one we have not discussed enough about at all, of course, is Lane Kiffin has taken the coaching job, of course, at LSU in dramatic fashion as per
Told
usual.
y'all.
I mean, I
told
think we
y'all,
saw that
and
one
you were all
coming.
like, no, you all told
What?
me he was staying at Ole Miss.
I would have liked for him to stay at Ole Miss. If I'm being completely honest, I think you should have stayed at Ole Miss.
I
And my
know,
reason
but
is,
what I'm saying is, I said,
oh yeah,
he's going to LSU,
I know.
yo.
I doubted. I got
And
it.
you
I got
fell
it.
for his
But
nonsense again.
I just, for me, I think you shouldn't have left Ole Miss. You were building something special there.
Yep.
I mean, really special. I mean, they had a team capable of
Yeah, well, they gave him
causing upsets
90
and making
million
it to a national
reasons.
championship game.
Yep.
And you blew it all away by
They gave him
deciding
90
to make your
million
decision. I mean, here's my thing. Why would you make your decision now? Why now? Like,
Yeah.
why could you not have waited till after the season was over to tell anyone about it?
Because they aren't going to wait. They're not going to
No.
wait. The portal opens.
Well, screw
before
them
the
if they're not going to
playoffs.
wait. Don't go to LSU. If they can't wait, then they can't wait.
Okay. What I'm telling you is $90 million.
I could care less. I thought he would stay at Ole Miss because I think he was building something special in Ole
Money
Miss.
talks.
Honestly, I thought
Money
within the
talks
next 2
in
years,
college football.
I thought within the
Let me
next
just
2
ask
years
you.
they could win a college football national championship. In my opinion, I
What
thought they could win
about
it in the next 2
Lane
years.
Kiffin's track record? What
Yeah,
about
that's
Lane
true.
Kiffin's track record
a
made
good
you
point.
think he would do the right thing? Like,
That's a good point.
Right.
That's a good point. I mean,
Yeah.
we know his history. Obviously, of course, when he was the head coach at Tennessee and then getting fired on the tarmac as the head coach of USC, and then Nick Saban telling
that was all
Nick Saban
after
telling
Al
him to go
Davis
to.
basically called him the biggest piece of crap he ever knew. Like, Al Davis hated that man.
Goodness.
Well, and then you got the whole, Nick Saban telling him go away before the national championship
get outta
game.
here.
Over to, I should have, I should have saw it coming. I think a lot of people should have saw it coming. For those who thought he was going to stay at Ole Miss, and honestly, Ole Miss fans were furious, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them whatsoever. But I should have seen it coming. I think a lot of people should have seen it coming. And it's come, and he, of course, is now at Baton Rouge. And, of course, Ole Miss, who's ranked 6th, I think, with a one-loss record, who has a real legitimate chance of making it to the, making it to at least the college football semifinals, if not potentially a national championship, they're going to be without, of course, Lane Kiffin. And you know what? If they win a national championship, jokes on Lane
That would
Kiffin.
be funny.
That would be
That would
hilarious.
be funny as hell.
Wow, that would be
great.
Man,
I would
that
crazy
would
work
be
from
so
the scriptwriters in that one.
And then, of course, a lot of coaching stuff around. There were talks about possibly Shane Beamer getting fired. That's not going to happen for at least another year. Dabo Sweeney looks like he's secured his job at
he's
Clemson.
safe.
He's
Clemson
not going
will
anywhere.
play a bowl game. Not sure where, but they will be. They'll be bowling this year.
Probably, I think it's. They're probably going to be playing at the Sun Bowl or
one of the
Fenway Bowl. That'd be
Nobody
one of those,
cares.
nobody cares. I don't care, and I'm a
Look,
Clemson fan. I couldn't give a
yeah,
crap.
it's easy to not care when you
Unless
are a
it's the
team expected to make
Pop-Tarts
the
Bowl,
playoff.
who
But I'll
cares?
tell you what, there
Yeah, that's
are
very
some
true.
positive
Very
things
true,
to winning. Like I there are players who back out of bowl games, but I think like for the guys who have been there, for the younger guys, there's a I look back. I mean, if you're a Clemson fan, you obviously remember the Chick-fil-A Bowl against LSU and what that did to the
Yes.
program on that crazy fourth down conversion from Taj Boyd,
Yeah.
the Cat Nazaro field goal. How important was that bowl win to the
Yeah.
success
Oh,
that followed for Clemson?
huge.
Yeah. So I mean, those
Huge.
bowl
Well,
games
it's
matter.
so important.
Yeah.
Making
It
a
was
bowl
so
game
important.
is so important because you basically get a free month of practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think South Carolina, I think they got to figure some things out because it's just not working right now for them. And of course, there's a whole debacle of Lenore Sellers possibly leaving. I think he's going to go. I think he's going to probably Miami or something like that. But
I'd go if I were him.
I would too. It's just a sinking ship right now at South Carolina. And, the funniest thing is, of course, me being the man I am on social media as always, I've just seen nothing but South Carolina fans, going over the game and saying, man, the referees were horrible. I was like,
Yeah.
was it ever going to help you guys? You guys were going to lose regardless. So what's the point,
Yeah.
But,
Right.
it's just, it is what it is. A lot of other coaches have been moved around. Of course, I think a couple coaches from the group of 5 level have moved up to coach at the at the power 4 level. I got to look at the rest of those. We'll do that on another show because I think we've been on for long enough. So I think that's going to do it for us here. I want to thank everyone for watching us. Thank all of our LowcoSports sponsors, especially our OG sponsor, Mickelson Law Firm, and of course our all-star sponsors, including WHHI. And we want to thank you for showing up to listen or watch. We will be back. I don't know when we will be back.
Well,
don't know if
we got to do some kind of Hampton show tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I would think
absolutely.
so. You know what would be great? Do a show in Hampton when everybody gets back. Do a show at the.
Oh yeah, that would be dope.
That'd be great.
But
Yes, we definitely need to do a Hampton show. So we will definitely do.
I know the Hoops boys, the One Loco Hoops Happy Hour. They want to go at like 6:00 Sunday, I think. And then
Okay.
I reckon the Loco Grind boys will probably want to go at like 8:00 Sunday. So we should have some good programming this weekend.
And then, of course, I'll do my show, the Mad Max Loco Recap, probably Monday morning. For those of you who are driving into work later in the morning, want to watch the show, or whatever. I'll do my show on Monday morning. And so we'll get enough coverage and recap on the Hampton County game. So we'll be back more than likely tomorrow night at some point, and we'll keep you informed on that. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you, everyone, for watching. For Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, I'm Max Araj, and until next time, go Loco.